with the Kalista as well for a different look at that lane.
Renata is up as well. I think Kindred Renata here would be great comfort for DRX. We saw how powerful BeryL's Renata was, but they could just flip the script. Azir for Zeka. Is that going to be a lock-in?
No way. With Silence and Akali
With Silence Akali up, yeah, Renata is a no-brainer. They don't want to give that over. We'll see what Keria matches into this Renata.
Renata locked in next to the Varus. They're up against Sejuani, so they know that T1 will have a powerful front line. Sejuani is tied for most played champion by Oner so far at this tournament. T1 love running this in the jungle, and DRX, they'll lock the Azir.
The challenge has been thrown down to Faker. The gauntlet thrown down here. Are you going to play the Akali again?
I think Akali or Sylas here would be great, but they might have to match support depending on what they're thinking in terms of pool. You know, Nautilus could be a good pick. Thresh, something along those lines that can pressure this lane. Blitzcrank as well into those champions. Looks really good if I think about it, but yeah, matching mid could be a no-brainer. Soraka.
Keria. Versatility here. Soraka's poke in lane is probably the biggest underestimated part of the kit. When people look at this champion, you focus on the healing, but Keria plays it so aggressively along with that Kalista, it can be abusive.
And do not underestimate the silence in team fights as well. This can completely throw off otherwise good plays. It's such a rare mechanic in League of Legends. It's hard to remember exactly how that's going to affect things.
So now you're probably expecting DRX to ban away the Akali. You know, if Faker's not going to pick it up, that is a strong kill counter champion into Azir, and Faker has played so many of those games. They ban out the Victor first for the scaling option. Maybe they're thinking, looking at T1's draft, that T1 want some more scaling than that, you know, some control mage look from the mid lane.
Yeah, the Sejuani will need some melee champions with her, whether she's top or jungle. I don't think Faker will struggle to find a champion here on 4. The Sejuani flex is what I'm really concerned about for DRX.
Ooh.
Your jungle pool's been pinched, and you have to blind top against Zeus. Aatrox is a good lean towards, but he'll pick something like Fiora or Yone again with Sejuani. It could be disastrous. So T1 holding all the cards right now in terms of counter picks as the last ban comes through for DRX. What's it going to be? Something like Akali or Sylas can work really well. Functions very strong with Sejuani jungle.
Yeah, surprised they didn't double ban.
Yone.
They're covering the Aatrox. They're saying that we want to blind Aatrox here on 4. Now do they take it away, T1? Or they lock in Faker's Akali?
Okay, so I think you do blind the Aatrox here, and then T1 will answer with the Fiora for Zeus.
Yep, 100%. Unless they put the Sejuani top, but I think the matchup is that great in isolation as the game gets later on. You have to have a really valuable jungle counter pick, and Pyosik might have to dig deep here because he's facing a Kindred ban. Graves is up, but I feel like they need a little bit, maybe a melee champ here would be better. Something like Vi that can lock the Kalista down.
So much pressure on them, and they know they're facing the Soraka team as well. Gonna have to deal with the sustain in these team fights.
Maokai can lock the Kalista down as well. And it is gonna be the Maokai jungle for Pyosik. There's the Fiora last pick as we expected. Triple melee top side. We haven't seen Maokai for a long time. We saw it playing, so we saw it a little bit in groups, and then it just fell off.
Sprouts his head up here again in the finals in a must-win game for DRX.
And he's good at locking down these mobile carries like a Kalista, like an Akali. He's also good at locking down a squishy target like the Soraka, but it's up to Pyosik to find those plays.
And they've actually layered it with a lot of other big AoE CCs here. The Renata ultimate, you've got Varus, Deft here, really good at setting up plays with the Varus ult. If you cover an area of the map with the Maokai ultimate and the Renata ultimate, makes it way easier to hit the other ones.
I think Deft needs to go more towards an on-hit build here. I think poke against Soraka. Yes, if you hit her, it's great, but if she stays back, she'll heal through your poke. Also, Vamp Scepter early on in lane is great, but of course the Eclipse build can help out. But regardless, hoping Deft goes for on-hits. But we talk about the lockdown of Maokai. Not only is it getting onto the Kalista, but the
championship. The other 3 earned under the SKT banner. This would be the first time they claim it as T1, and they are a single game away.
When Zeus last faced the Aatrox and he picked the Yone, they also had Oner on the Sejuani, and they had Oner go gank it. Go gank it early, get him these kills, get him that priority. See if they do it again here. Double tank junglers, but lots of CC setup, lots of gank opportunity for them.
I'm excited to see Faker on Akali, see what damage he can get done. We saw Games where he's just dominating the backline in fights. DRX have lockdown for him, and he'll try to navigate his way through. The benefit is the enemy mid-jungle is double AP on both sides, so itemization and runes shouldn't be too difficult.
Yep.
It's all about the side lanes, really. How far ahead can this Fiora get, and how much can she leverage that lead in team fights versus split push for DRX, who have really good engage. They have good choke control and everything along those lines. T1 just have better skirmish, and they want to look to flank and find these angles. It's been T1 finding these scaling drafts, which want to be death balls. Now it's flipped its head as T1 pick things like this Kalista and Akali who want to dive in.
But remember, blue side has won every game so far in the series. Pyosik starting off with a control ward here to be able to clear the vision on his own chicken camp, so then he can do his jungle without being seen. Zeus just hanging out here in the brush top side. Kingen being nice and patient. Level 1's gonna get spicy here in the bottom lane as BeryL, Deft, and Gumayusi trade blows.
Yeah, the support's determined so much of this matchup here. Keria walking forward, trying to push them off, but it will be the early push for DRX. Deft and BeryL gonna take advantage of the minion wave and get to number 2 first.
Bot lane expected to be in isolation, looking at both junglers. Oner will move towards the Wolves. Pyosik will finish the red and move towards top side. 2v2, likely in favor of the Fiora Sejuani early game. The cooldowns for the Aatrox are incredibly long. Level up coming in here from BeryL. He could look to flash Q Keria if he steps up a little bit too far, but he's not going to do it. Training on top, that's where both junglers want to focus. Very, very snowbally in terms of if the Fiora gets ahead.
Good job of Kingen right there. You can see his movement. He hugs the wall, hiding that vital, that procs for the Fiora in it so that Zeus can't get the better trade.
Faker at 200 HP here early on, playing the melee into the range. That's the early laning phase. You trade your health as a resource to guarantee that you're able to get this farm. Dorian's shield plus potions going to allow him to weather that storm with the most grace possible.
Exactly, and you wait till you get low to get that missing health heal. Really high value out of it. He's also got the extra sustain with the fleet footwork there. Everything he can do with his runes.
Oner, level 3. Does get spotted by the ward. Zeka knows where he is. We'll have to back up as he runs into this top side river. Pyosik still clearing out his camps. Top crab should be in favor of T1 here, and Pyosik going to backtrack down towards his bot side. The problem is Kingen is very diveable right now. He's picking assistance. Pyosik now running back towards top as quickly as he can, because if Oner peeks his head up there, BeryL.
Ooh, BeryL goes in aggressively, but the flash isn't going to get him a lot. Now he and Deft have to back away. Gumayusi goes for the Pierce. Keria able to flash forward now too. BeryL's at 200 HP. BeryL tries to get away. Deft is at 100. Keria is low. Deft is going to proc the bailout. Will he get the damage? No, it's first blood over to Keria.
Guma and Keria do it again! This T1 bottom lane on point, but now junglers meet mid.
Junglers both here, Faker at 200 HP. T1 can't take it any further, but the T1 bottom lane, the return to glory after falling short at MSI, trying to reclaim that title of top bot lane in the world, and they're showing off 2v2.
And they're showing off in the most important game of their year, maybe even their career, winning out on that bot 2v2. Guma and Keria have struggled so much throughout summer with Guma taking bad trades or dashing too far forwards in lane, which just hurts their 2v2. But it's this time where they get the advantage up against DRX. I'd love to see the replay here, because I think Gumayusi dashes out of vision to stop Deft from getting the kill. And I want to see Keria silence towards the end. I think he silenced Deft on his Q to get the kill. So, Gumayusi and Keria. BeryL doesn't get the connect. They then flash forward to look for Deft, who then responds to this flash. BeryL puts the bailout on Deft and tells him to just run straight into them. He loses vision on Guma here, and I think Keria's silence just about pulls it off to stop the Q from landing.
Just barely, and Guma runs all the way around into the alcove, out of fog of war. Can't see him anymore, can't finish it, can't get the bailout. All summoners also blown on the bottom side of the map. So you know there's blood in the water. As much as you really want to focus on the top triangle of the map, now bottom lane fighting this aggressively, so volatile with 0 summoners left, the junglers are attracted.
Pyosik has flash. Could just flash root someone here. Needs the wave to go a little bit further forward so he can get in that second brush.
Yep, the wave will push away from DRX. They've got significantly more minions, so those are about to collide into the turret. T1 knows that Oner is still on the top side of the map, now making his way down through their own bottom side jungle, so that means they just have to wait. Play it safe, play it cool, clear out the wave. That's exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, Pyosik hasn't based yet. He's going to recall now and pick up those boots. A little bit behind Oner on the clear speed in terms of responding to these plays. Top lane in favor of T1. mid lane in favor of DRX. Oner now around. Has the blast code, will get spotted by the ward, which will be swept away. DRX, no flashes in bot side, need to be very careful.
Yeah, both junglers taking a little bit of their time out to try and visit, since they know it's so volatile. But Oner not losing out on any camps as he does it. Dragon spawning, control ward placed as well, and now he's just hovering around, putting this silent pressure onto DRX.
He can Q-flash onto Deft here, and I think he will die on top of a silence, but Oner is calling it off. They don't have vision on Pyosik just yet. They might spot him on the entrance towards topside, but Top Crab is spawning, and once they spot him, they'll realize that this dragon is free.
And there it is, exactly as you say. Oner making his way over to that one. Q3 from Kingen. Zeus in trouble, but still manages to walk it back underneath his own turret.
Uh-oh.
Pyosik ready to stop this recall here. Ghost and Teleport both available for Zeus if he can get back. Pyosik will not kill him 1v1. They do need extra damage. Faker making his way up to top as the dragon goes down for T1.
That was a critical heal. Zeus got the fleet footwork heal off of tapping Pyosik, so able to sustain under his tower, and now the bottom side with Oner.
Oner's ready to go. Deft is the target. They're ready to try to fight back, but DRX are 2v3. Gumayusi will not fall, and DRX will lose their AD carry for the second time.
So close. I wonder if Deft had heal in that exchange and he could use it before the bailout. Either way, they don't get the reset. He dodges the Sejuani Q, which is pixel perfect, but they can't trade in the 2v3. They knew Oner was bot side, and they still felt confident enough to take that fight. T1 come away with 2 kills onto Keria.
Yeah, and they just got that dragon with the alert going up as well. Huge stuff for T1 starting to snowball in this game. Exactly what they need.
It's one of those things where the bailout might be expiring, so maybe that's why he didn't use the heal. So we'll look at this one again. Oner's there. I think Flash Q comes in, and Deft doesn't actually flash, just dodges away from the Q. Bailout comes onto Deft. He has to heal up, but he chooses not to use it. Maybe that extra auto weaved in would have made it a 1-for-1.
Yeah, Oner are a little scared there of the handshake to come out, I believe, too, to knock him in. So he flashed out, and then the re-engage. It was so close. Not able to get it.
And now it's T1 again, first to the objective. They already took first Drake for themselves, and now they'll look to take first Herald. Kingen's nearby, there's a control ward in the pit, but no other DRX bodies are even close, so they can't really do a whole lot to keep fighting for this. Kingen wants to keep these guys nearby. The Maokai ulti's not gonna find anybody just yet. Zeus continues running. The little sapling, yes, he's enchanted by the brush, but he can't catch up in time. So T1, they get what they came for and they get back out. Now Zeus, ready to issue a fight onto Kingen here with a grand challenge. Pyosik showing up to try to help them. They're gonna try to turn it around right back onto Oner. He's low, but Keria is here to try to make the difference. However, DRX will outplay. Kingen still looking to keep the fight going a little bit further, but he's got to be careful. He'll look for Keria. Q2 lands. Where's Q3? Flash coming out from Keria to stay alive.
Kingen is playing this fight pixel perfect in the 2v3. Calls Pyosik to take it, even though they have a Soraka. Keria uses both summoners in that fight. Oner dies. That Q3 flash from Kingen was insane to turn that fight.
Incredible stuff for him to be able to pull it out, and DRX needed that to get leverage back in this game as well on those support roam timers.
Faker.
Nice.
Faker's all right. He's chilling. He's chilling.
Good dodge, good dodge. He's still got it. Still has the reaction speed. Meanwhile, bottom side left alone because of that top side commitment on the support roam timers.
Yeah, Deft struggling in this 1v1. Faker was hovering down towards that bot side, going to trade really aggressively onto Zeka. Knows he doesn't have the shuffle, so he can afford to play so far up. The first play the DRX actually found success in was in this 2v3. They've been taking a lot of fights at numbers disadvantages. They've been arriving late to these objectives, but that one kill will help them out a little bit. Kingen lost his flash, so has to be very careful. Sejuani Fiora, really good setup. Zeka getting a small lead in this lane. We were very surprised to see Zeka on not so much of a playmaker, but more of a scaler. But DRX probably think that these games are going very long, so having that control mage is necessary.
Yeah, and then the last game we just saw T1 utilizing the Azir plus the Varus range advantage for later very effectively. DRX trying to choose that one this time around, but T1 have very, very good flankers here. We'll see if they can get to the backside.
A lot of attention up here on the top side now from the junglers. After the summoner spells came back up bottom, it's back to what you guys were talking about as the game plan with that top side triangle. Now, the Rift Herald still has half the timer left. Remember, it's Zeus who picked it up, so it's not like Oner can walk this thing around anywhere on the map. As BeryL goes into the hostile takeover, it hits both, as Gumayusi could now be in some trouble. Deft trying to fire in a little bit more damage as the 2v1 dive goes out top. Zeus barely staying alive, but there's the kill. Pyosik gets away with a flash, and DRX are ready to go.
The mechanics on both side lane plays from DRX were beautiful. BeryL preemptively hostile takeovers in Gumayusi's direction, knowing he'll use the Fate's Call, and then Kingen dodges that Fiora W to the side so perfectly. Both side lanes, a lot of fighting, and despite being behind, DRX are putting up a fight.
And it means top side gets really far ahead here for Kingen. Turret plates taken off for this Aatrox. Even without getting the killing blows onto Zeus, he's really starting to pull ahead. This is his time to shine.
And we've said it many times before, DRX, it really was a struggle to get here in the first place. 10 games played over 2 series in the regional qualifier, knocked out in playoffs in the first round. It's just been insurmountable pressure that's been exponentially growing through group stage. Even playing to group stage, to quarters, to semis, it's always gotten heavier, the pressure. But now the weight of the world is on them. They're against T1, who are on match point, but they're still finding plays. Pyosik on this Maokai sitting at 2-0. Dragon is up, and T1 are grouping up to fight.
The first Dragon, the first Herald in this game, both going over to T1. DRX grouping up mid, ready to fight back. Immortal Shield Bow and Crown of the Shattered Queen are both done. That is a big item spike advantage for the side of DRX, as their opponents do not have any completed items yet.
Herald's used there by Zeus, who picked it up. Looks like it'll crash, and Kingen is going to stop it. He'll turn around here. I think Kingen might be able to take this down before it crashes. That's a lot of gold that can be denied. T1 starting the Dragon Roll. Meanwhile, it's a 4v4.
Really nicely done from Kingen, but now what about the team fight here in the bottom lane? They're going in. They found a lot of damage, but they won't find the kill just yet. Now Gumayusi's going to be popped, and BeryL is not traded back. Zeka taking some damage. Faker trying to go in and find his way through the smoke. Now he's going to run. He's trying to get out, but Twisted Advance will find him, and DRX will win across the rift.
They're doing it! The perennial underdogs, DRX! They kill the Rift Herald on top side. Kingen takes it down. Then they get the sweep from Zeka into the ultimate from Deft, sniping the kill.
2 kills over to Deft as well. They don't have anything else to follow up with. They've got bot side vision. They got an extra 2 kills. They got the Dragon. T1 are the one to pull the trigger. But look at the communication from DRX. Instantly, Zeka jumps across to the bot lane. Deft is off to the side. Great Varus ult. T1 have to retreat. Faker tries to salvage it, but it backfires. As he goes in, he has no tools to escape. The dashes aren't far enough, and Pyosik finds it.
Beautiful stuff. Deft with the arrow right through the heart of Guma. Faker getting pulled in and killed on top of it. And DRX are not done with Worlds 2022.
And the beautiful stop in the top lane as well by Kingen to absolutely halt any sort of a cross map with the Herald. Everyone on this team, once again, backs to the wall, and they stand tall.
And you highlighted it, Flowers. Before the fight, the shield bow versus no mythic on the side of Gumayusi. The shield bow saved Deft when Faker went in. If he didn't have that, maybe they could have turned the fight. Oner now up towards this top side. Herald spawning in 10 seconds. Pressure in bots from T1. Pressure in top as well. Kingen showing respect in case any play is to be made. It's on Pyosik to find the objective. He's moving towards this top side river. Zeka is in hot pursuit, and the bot lane of DRX is on the way up.
Yeah, look at this. The overcommitment. It's going to be multiple players trying to hover up on top side. They were expecting a hard play here from DRX, waiting for the counter in the brush there for Oner. Doesn't pop out. And so they're just going to get a refocus. Ward's already over here. You see towards bottom side too. They're trying to make the trade again, but it's a bottom side recommitment. They're going to get back. DRX, they're going to make the cross map defense and not give up anything for this Rift Herald.
So does T1 take the 3v3 then, because they have information? Soraka ult is up soon as well. Faker not there just yet, but is level 11. Oner's in the pit. T1 bot lane now on the way up. DRX are on a timer to take this fight.
T1's ready to challenge. Faker is here, objective at 2K. Faker's going in, smoke is ready. Zeka getting himself back. Oner's taken low, they're ready to keep the fight going. Kingen charges forward, but now Zeus is looking for Pyosik. The killing spree for the jungler of DRX. Where's the follow-up? T1 trying to stay together. Hostile takeover finds Faker. T1 are corralled in the back of the pit, and it's DRX executing.
In a freaking 4v5, yo! They've got Deft on the bottom side taking care of the turret as well.
The only king in that fight was Kingen. He did so much work to get T1 down. Zeus and Oner couldn't take the fight. Tower over to DRX. Herald over to DRX. Mid tower will fall. Top tower is going to fall as well. They just broke the entire map open from one fight.
Even just being here in finals, DRX are already the greatest underdog story, the greatest Cinderella story of Worlds of all time. A 4th seed through play-ins all the way to finals, and they are on the precipice of pushing T1 to a final game.
DRX have been through the trenches this year and they have not heard a bell yet, so they're gonna keep fighting in this game 4. It's looking good. Big gold lead, 4,000 over to them, even in Dragons. Next Dragon up in 1 minute 20 seconds. They're going to set up for it and try to build towards this soul. And the benefit of all of this is they have an Azir. Zeka's not even on a playmaker. He's on a scaling mage, so they have a very good, comfortable late game insurance.
No losses in play-ins. First place in their group. The second reverse sweep of all time at Worlds in quarters and defeating the #1 seed of their region in semis. Now doing this against T1 in the finals.
And if we're looking at the mini-map, you see the commitment of the T1 bottom lane. That's why T1 commit to this, but they focus fire Oner here. Sejuani's so low, flashes over into the hug.
Says hello!
Of the sapling. Hello and goodbye.
Oner goes down. Heroic sapling from Pyosik. Nice pushback by Zeka to stop Faker from EL to dive on top of them. T1 retreat. They run for the hills, but there's a wall in their way, and DRX sandwiched them down. Keria no flash, he falls. T1 have the mobility to get the rest of the members out, but that's enough to put them at such a sizable advantage. DRX coaching staff elated with that fight.
And the reason we're reacting so heavily here, League of Legends is usually a game of give and take. You win one side, you give on the other side. But that was such a big jump in health here for DRX. They won both sides with having Deft push down the bottom tower already. That's why we already, 17 minutes into the game, have objective bounties. DRX are crushing it.
And I think DRX are ahead enough to not trade. They're going to get this dragon for free. Zeka has TP. Put numbers top. Don't put numbers around the objective you want to play for. Put numbers around the objective the enemy team wants to play for. Look at T1. They all base. They all realize that DRX control both sides of the map right now, and they won't be able to find that objective bounty.
DRX with a 4,000 gold lead. DRX now grabbing their second Drake of the game. A mountain Drake at that will be the soul if they can continue this. And I'll tell you what, something like that makes life much more of a pain for Faker's Akali to try to find his angles and try to maneuver around these fights. Checking in on the top lane, it's still a lead for Kingen, still 1-0-3 here on the Aatrox as Zeka retreats away from Faker here bottom side. Faker trying to chase after him here, uses R1, TP. Finds the E, but now a TP is coming in. Now the ulti's coming over from Maokai. Now DRX have found Faker. The smoke will not save him, and DRX 5v4 again.
DRX kill Faker, and they're gonna push down through bot lane. T1 are playing on 2 lanes, but the TP salvages that. They'll get this mid tower, but DRX will get the bot tier 2. More gold over to Kingen. More side lane pressure for this Aatrox. Zeus still yet to find his second item. DRX are collapsing.
They're not even going to get the mid tower for T1. Gumayusi running away there, throwing the spear out, getting himself a safe distance away from BeryL. Bottom lane tier 2 falls. DRX winning out again. 5,000 gold now ahead of T1.
I mean, you can see.
Zeka?
Whoa.
Zeka. Goes over the blast cone, finds 2, but it might not be Zeka who's in for a nasty surprise. Keria gets chased, Sejuani ulti on Zeka to get T1 away.
You can see which of these two teams is feeling the pressure. And guess what? It's not the team that is facing match point right now. DRX controlling the map here, forcing some misplays from T1, some over-aggressive attempts to try and pull the game back because they know they're facing the outscale that DRX faced in the last game. They've got Azir, they've got the Varus advantage, they have the front line to work behind as well. And so DRX pushing in these side lanes, the map closing in around T1.
They're running out of options really, T1. Scaling is not really in their favor. It's more so the Fiora that is the scaling because she will win out on side lane against the Aatrox. But Kingen is so strong now. I don't think that scaling can even factor in anymore. They need at least 20 minutes to leverage that or even it out. So DRX will play with the Aatrox in bot, and they'll try to push out these waves with Kingen and move towards mid, and threaten this Baron constantly to make T1 second-guess themselves until they walk in to the waiting arms of DRX.
Kingen has 2 completed items. Fiora has Divine Sunderer and still some pieces. It'll be a while before he's able to deal with that Aatrox.
I want to see if T1 can go for one of these trailing split push plays, try and hide the Sejuani behind one of the split pushers and pick somebody off, because that's what you have to do, one of these surprise plays. Sejuani ult into melee champions, proc the stun, take away some of this pushing power of DRX, because look at them, they're playing the whole map right now.
They are, and that's because of these pushing side lanes. Are they going to start up the Baron? Looks like they're thinking about it.
Okay.
They can do this though. No tank in the pit. I think Deft's just going to hit it.
Yeah.
And it's the solo lanes of DRX with the push, and it's Kingen who finished, we talked about it, he finished last place last year in summer alongside Pyosik. Then he convinced Zeka, who was a very close friend of his, to come back from the LPL and join the LCK and join him in the ranks of DRX. And he took the gamble. He joined the last place team. Look at them now. World's finals, both having the side lane push, winning out in their respective solo laners. And they really want to threaten this Baron. Oner is in the vicinity, started up. The sapling will spot out the jungler of T1. He has no vision to work with. Keria's trying his best to help out. No Kalista, it's a smite fight.
It's time to overcome the demons of Game 3 for DRX. Maokai ulti flies out, Kingen in World Ender goes over the wall. Faker's lost half HP, Faker is nearly down. Hostile takeover over the wall. Wish from Soraka will heal the mid laner, but Maokai says no! DRX ready to fight back again as Zeus is going to be shuffled away. T1 tries to find the fight and they're finally going to kill Deft, but Kingen's still ready to fight over the side. Zeka getting chased, BeryL trying to protect. A beautiful handshake from Renata as Keria falls. T1, 2v3. BeryL may be the target, but Gumayusi is locked down. Gumayusi is executed by the sword of Kingen, and Oner is the only man standing wearing red.
Guma does everything he can to keep T1 alive, but Kingen comes to collect.
And he's looking for his crown, isn't he? He's putting the whole team on his back in these fights. Zeka and Deft fall, but the last threat on DRX is Kingen. Dragon spawning in 30 seconds. Even numbers distribution across the board in terms of deaths. No neutral objective started just yet. DRX don't have the damage to take down this Baron without those carries. But with the Dragon spawning soon, resets will come in and they'll start to establish control over the map in these mid-wave pushes. Faker really struggling to get involved in these fights.
Yeah, that Infernal Chain barely yoinked him back in, hit the full combo. They blow the Akali up. He's got to find better positioning.
Let's take another look. The Baron got half HP, and then DRX said no, turn for the fight.
They just keep your eyes on Kingen, lands the Q2, Q3 pull back onto Faker, then gets the auto attack in, I believe, as he dashes out. Pyosik follows through across the wall to get the kill. So it's a 2v1 on the top side, but that means it's a numbers disadvantage around the river fight. So that's where T1 find their advantage. Kingen's trying his best to come around the wall and help out, and he starts cleaning up the fight for DRX.
And look how much work Guma puts in for T1. They're trying to fight their way out, up the river here, towards Zeka, towards BeryL, chasing them through. But Kingen from behind catches everything. Pyosik with the flash over the wall into the tri-brush, locks him up.
And it's that twisted advance. It's that lockdown on these mobile carries that we talked about in draft that is why this Maokai is popping up. Holy hell! 5,400 damage from Kingen's Aatrox in that fight. This is a man who wants Game 5. This is a man not willing to let this series end on 4. And this is a man leading the way for DRX. Maw completed as his third big item. DRX, now with their soul point status, has total control over Summoner's Rift. Kingen, he'll look for it. He'll only find Oner. Keria's nearby. He's trying to get away. He has to flash. Nice stun from Oner to stop Pyosik.
Very big cooldowns here burned before this Baron attempt. DRX now retreating back into the vision that they do control.
I think they might have to force this soon because Zeus is pushing bot. Kingen doesn't want to TP down there. He wants to force Zeus to TP up. So I feel like DRX need to make a Baron call soon, and they're going to do it. They haven't pushed in mid-wave, but Zeus will have to TP in.
It's time to go. Objective bounty claimed, and now Zeus is ready to join the fight. Baron at half HP. Oner's trying to find his way in there. He Arctic assaults over the wall. He has no flash, there is no blast cone, but just the threat of the steal gets DRX off the Baron.
They got double TP. They need to get back towards mid, clear out this wave, and then reset the map state. No TPs on T1 means their side lanes are going to struggle. DRX have the advantage on the globals.
Exactly. DRX got what they came for. They don't care if they don't finish the Baron here. They don't want another crazy steal coming through. They want 2 teleport cooldowns, and they got both of them.
I think the second Zeus shows himself in bot, they'll start it up again, but as I say that, they're just going to start it right now. Faker took the base, Keria did as well. It's only Oner that's around here. Kingen will jump over the wall here and start to zone him away.
But it could only be Oner that they need. He did a miracle last time. Kingen wants to stop him this time. Baron at 3K. Oner goes berserk. He's locked down. The Baron for DRX.
They did it! They kept him out this time! Everything thrown over the walls there. Oner can't get in, and DRX secure the Baron.
And they'll use the Baron as a blanket to secure the soul. They'll keep waves in onto T1's tier 3 towers. Maybe they'll look for the tier 2 top if they want to play 4-1. But the Dragon Soul is what they'll look for. They're playing Fiora, Akali, Kalista against Mountain Soul. This is going to be really tough for T1 to find any avenue back into this game.
The pathway is laid to the Prophet. The foretold game number 5 here. DRX so heavily advantaged now with Baron buff. You're talking about the instant reset, push outside waves, easily set up for Soul. And it is Mountain Soul as well. So good against Akali, so good against this T1 composition.
T1 looking for a pick. They found Pyosik, but Zeka's right behind him. They're committing so many numbers down here to try to find something before the waves start to crash onto their towers. Zeus will get an objective bounty top tier 1, but the rest of DRX are running down mid and T1 are cut off. Kingen's going to spot them out in just a second. Do they take the fight? They'll try to stop them as much as they can.
DRX is just controlling priority over the mid lane, getting that wave pushed up into the tier 3 turret. They've already taken half HP. T1 have now finally found their positioning again, but it may already be too late. The cannon minion's still alive. The cannon minion's still firing. The cannon minion kills the tier 3 turret. Zeus, in the meantime, is still top. He's taken out the tier 2. DRX, they're going for broke. They're going for anything they can find. The second inhibitor turret's going to be the target. Faker is now the target. They're trying to push Oner way in. Oner's on full retreat. Zeus finally making his recall back into the base. DRX, 5-man push, still looking for Nexus turrets. Gumayusi's gonna be caught. Kingen looks for him, but the Kalista's able to get away. Zeus wants to jump in. Zeka's still safe. DRX now having to deal with Faker. He jumps in, he jumps out. There's no angle. DRX, they'll find the first Nexus turret. Oner charges away. DRX have health advantage. They have stats advantage. They have gold advantage. The turrets are dropping. Zeus is on the flank, but it won't do a thing. Kingen's wings spread wide, and DRX looks to keep going.
The relentless pressure here. They've still got 2 cannon minions. Zeka chasing off Zeus, and BeryL comes to join.
Zeus is low. He's trying to get himself away. The turret's still barely standing. Keria now going to be your target. Kingen chasing him away. Gumayusi goes in. It won't matter. They're done. That's it. DRX are taking us to game 5.
1 game to decide it all. Faker and Deft combined have played over 2,000 games. And it's going to come down to 1. The King is looking vulnerable. T1 was on match point, but DRX never fail to beat the odds.
The goat versus the alpaca. It all comes down to this.
Deft really does have 1 bullet in the chamber to kill the King now. 1 game to do it. T1 will have blue side. They'll select the stronger side. That's 100% win rate this game. So not only do they have to win, but they have to win against T1. Undefeated on that side in the series.
DRX have trained all year for this. Every series to get here in summer, they were underdogs, eliminated in the first round of LCK playoffs, clawing their way through regionals, upset after upset, getting closer and closer as a group, trusting each other more and more. They talk about it in every interview, and now they've pushed the greatest of all time to a game 5.
Look at Kingen's damage.